One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. To let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides onto his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his step, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Man, good morning to all of you freaking legends out there. Shout out to everybody. And happy fucking Friday. Absolutely feels good to be a G. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we got a kind of a wild news morning. We have, the way that I have this titled is U.S. Russia Ukraine peace meeting is happening, and I think it's going to be happening sometime later on today. And then historic winter storm, as well as Trump congressional bills at 3 p.m. Eastern. So that's obviously going to be later. So a lot of these things are probably going to be happening later. But I do have, at least you guys know that that's all happening. Now, the way that I have this lined up for the morning is Trump returns from, the World Economic Forum, talks Board of Peace, Iran latest with Zelensky, and etc. So that's on board of the Air Force One. So it's pretty lengthy. I'm not going to try to listen to the whole thing. Honestly, I'm not interested in listening to 45 minutes of Trump on a plane, really, honestly. We'll go ahead and try to get as many points as we can, and then we're going to move on. We have a breaking story from yesterday. Police say 5 were injured in D.C. shooting, and the suspect is still at large. And then the House passes final 2026 government funding bills. Speaker Johnson reacts, and we have that for everybody. It's fairly medium-sized segment. Trump administration will discipline ICE agents who make, quote, mistakes, Vance says. Now, here's the thing. I don't trust the feds to do shit. You know what I mean? You trust the feds to investigate the feds? Nah, homie. Just saying. But yeah, I mean, we do need to find out how we're going to hold federal agents accountable if they're excessive use of force, any of that kind of stuff. Absolutely, I do. We have to have checks and balances on this kind of shit. Trump's Board of Peace charter and Gaza's future. We have an update from that. Now, it may just be showing us what happened yesterday, what we reported at the World Economic Forum regarding the Board of Peace. It could be that, and if it is, we'll just skip right over it. If there's any new updates from it, hopefully there is, and we can actually garnish some type of fact. Anyways, a huge story that happened, by the way, this morning is being reported as of 2 hours ago. The U.S. leaves the World Health Organization over handling of COVID-19. Now, the announcement of this actually did happen. I saw this last night, like yesterday evening, when I got back home from Montgomery when I was down there with JR doing a public engagement. Nonetheless, big deal here. U.S. leaves World Health Organization. Anyways, we're going to get into Arctic blast as well. Dangerous snowstorm sweeps across the U.S. and 235 million people are going to be impacted by this. That's a large chunk of the United States for damn sure. And then we have the winter weather ice storm warning. We have 2,300-mile winter storm, 235 million Americans to be impacted by this. So that is our lineup for the morning. So great to see everyone in the chat. Thank you all for hanging out with us this morning. Great to see everybody. You guys are already commenting so fast, so I'm going to just start from here. We got Brother Steve Easy in the building. Shout out to my man. We got Naomi as well as Randy. Good morning, by the way, and welcome into the show. I see that you're new here. Great to see you. We also have Sick Bastard and the crew over there this morning, the coffee crew that came over and bombarded us and gave us a raid this morning, so I very much appreciate that. Let's see, we got Prez in the building as well, man, and Charles from Down Under. Yes, sir, great to see you. We got my man Frank as well. Thank you guys for being here. We got Chatting with Stacks, my man. Good morning to see, and great to see you in the chat, bro. We got Alfred Patterson in the building. Always appreciate you in the building, as well as Dylan. Good morning to the father-son duo. Always appreciate you guys. We got this morning Sterling Wheel coming in with the $10 saying, good morning, kids. Well, shit. I very much appreciate that. I very much appreciate the $10. We got Papa D as well coming in with the $2 saying, always with my cheap ass super chats, LOL. Listen, man, I appreciate it, and I'm not even going to call it cheap ass, okay? I appreciate it because it all adds up, bro. So stop capping.
Stop the cap.
But thank you guys for making it rain. I very much appreciate it early on this morning. We got Dark Soul as well as Papa Penguin. Good morning, you guys. We got Two Will Jesus as well as Rabbit of Chaos. Good morning. We got my man Jake from Project VO Pod, by the way. Fantastic commentator, political commentator, as well as debater, man. Go check him out and his channel. We got Sterling Will dropping a humongous bomb, bro. 5 gifted memberships, man. I very much appreciate that because it's not only helping me, but it's helping 5 others in the Insane Wheels family. So I very much appreciate that. Yes, sir. Feels good. Let's go ahead and scroll down. We've got got Robert. Good morning to you as well. We got Zip Tie. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Welcome. And it's been a minute. We got Mono as well as, let's see, we're scrolling down. I'm just trying to make sure I don't leave anybody out here. We got Papa D as well, obviously. Chrono. We got Josh Phillips, my man. Great to see you in the building as well. We got Key Fob, coming in, showing love to you, Mike. I very much appreciate that, bro. Good morning to you. We got Salty Badger, my man. Good morning, and a great hanging out with you this morning as well. We got Johnny Reno. Shit, feels good. We got Secondhand Triggered. What's up? Good morning. We got Carrie from Rob's Neighbor. Good morning. And yes, it's crazy week that we've had, but thank God it's Friday, right, man? So we're about to get right into it. So let's go ahead and get into the first story here regarding Trump. Now, this is on board of the Air Force One, so if it's either A, too noisy and we can't, and it's annoying, it's like work to listen to him, we're not going to listen to it. And if he starts blabbering about whatever, we're not going to listen to 44 minutes of this, okay? We can't. We got 8 stories to get through this morning.
We have a nice calm flight. I think the trip was great. We had a lot of good response.
Oh, shit. I knew I was missing something, Naomi. Thank you. Yes, real quick. I do have to do this. I do have to do this one part, okay? Damn. Fucking, I knew I was missing it. Thank you for that. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into it, I have to do my call to actions. Please like the video, man. I very much appreciate all of you guys coming in and hanging out with us this morning, as well as double tapping the screen on the vertical side and hitting the subscribe button. This is what we do Monday through Friday, man. So, as well as Saturday, which is tomorrow for members only. It's a great time. But let's go ahead and get the money part over. Please consider becoming a member starting only at $3.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So I very much appreciate that. Let's go ahead and move into side note. Follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as the campaign trail. And this is probably the most ideal way to get a hold of me one-on-one. We also have a Discord server for all of you guys that, I mean, listen, this is a whole community here. And we've got the majority of you guys in there. But make sure you guys, if you haven't joined up yet, join in. And we'll assign you guys your roles and all that shit. And it's a great time in there. It's a family, man. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, well, then we have these platforms right here that you guys can donate to. And I get 100% of the proceeds, and I'll read out whatever you send, just like a super chat. So I got my email up, ready to rock and roll. All right, so we're into it. Thank you for that, Naomi, for letting me know that I was fucking up on that. All right, here we go.
From the big news, and I think Greenland's going very well. It's in negotiation, and I think what we did today was great. It was great. There's going to be a great board. That'll be a board
What's up, Kel?
like no other, right? It's a board like no other. A lot of people are joining. We just went out with the letters, and a lot of people are joining. Now we have a flight back, and we'll be landing in 4 hours and 45 minutes. I'm going to be very late for dinner.
Okay, I don't care about you being late for dinner, homie.
A lot of great things in the deal, and don't forget they're also good for Europe. Because when we're good, they're good, and if we're not good, that's not very good for them. Because
we already know all this. Okay, listen, man, it's already rough as fuck. I'm gonna listen to a couple more minutes, and then that's it.
We hold it all together. We're holding it all together.
Does that actually give you control of land in Greenland? Does it give U.S. control ownership of land?
We can do whatever we want. We're all going to work together, and actually NATO is going to be involved with us. We're going to be doing in conjunction, parts of it in conjunction.
What's up, Bree? Good morning.
With NATO, which is really the way it should be.
But to be clear, will the U.S. own
have any expense because we're not going to have expense. Other than building the Golden Dome, we're going to build the Golden Dome. And we'll have participation in that also. The cost of the Golden Dome, we'll have participation in that also, meaning with the expense of it. And it'll be like no other. I mean, our technology is incredible.
Is Denmark signed off on this? Are they on board with this concept? Is Denmark on board?
Shit, real quick, before they ask that question, we got Sterling Wheel coming in. Hand my president a microphone, for fuck's sake. I agree! Is everyone scared to, put the microphone anywhere close to Trump or something? They're like, why are they withholding the microphones, bro?
With this concept?
I think everyone likes it. I think I'll let you know in about 2 weeks.
Thank you for that, Sterling.
In Denmark about this plan.
Secretary General Mark is a great guy. He's a great guy, and he's spoken to everybody.
And when you spoke with the NATO Secretary General, did you talk about U.S. military presence in Greenland? About military
We talked about everything, and you saw him yesterday. He was interviewed on Fred Bear, and he was very happy. He was very convinced this is a good deal for everybody.
Here's a great conversation go with President Zelensky.
This is the question I'm going to end off with, because all of these questions have actually been very good questions. It's just I wish we could hear them better.
Conversation. I've had numerous conversations on Ukraine. It'd be nice to end that war. It costs us nothing. We make money. I don't want to make money, but we make money. Whereas Biden spent $350 billion stupidly. It costs a lot of money, but it's not about the money. It's about 25 to 30,000 soldiers a month, mostly soldiers.
A month? Damn, bro. That's a lot of people. Real quick, we got Mount High in the building, as well as Joseph, my man, saying, good morning, Mr. Ball, Lucy, Breakfast Crew, Bob, everyone, and can't forget the haters. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
I got the soundbite for you. Always appreciate having you in the chat, bro. Good morning. And those figures that he was given for, that was regards to, I guess, the Russia-Ukraine war. I'm not sure if he was specifically talking those numbers on one side. I think he was talking about as a whole from both sides. Okay, so we're going to be moving into our next story here. This was breaking yesterday. Police say 5 injured in D.C. shooting. Suspect is at large. So that means they have not found him. They don't know who this guy is necessarily. Let's go ahead and bring this up. He's running. Well, I guess they could know who he is, but they just don't have him in custody.
Everybody good?
Good. All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Carroll, the interim chief of police for the Metropolitan Police Department.
What's up, TNT? Great to see you back in the chat. Good morning to you. Happy Friday.
An incident that occurred here approximately 4:50 p.m. this evening. This afternoon, approximately 4:50. You can see there's a bus behind me. There was
Brother Lee, good morning.
Bus here in the area of 16th and Missouri. The preliminary information that we do have is there was some sort of argument or dispute on the bus. The bus stopped there. The individuals that were involved in the argument then kind of engaged into some sort of fight that came off the bus into the sidewalks. We know at that time gunshots rang out into the area there. At this point, we have 5 individuals that were struck by gunfire. All those individuals that were struck have non-life-threatening injuries. A suspect did flee from the area here. At this time, we're looking for any additional information.
Listen, man, I haven't seen enough of this shit play out yet for me. But what I will say on this whole thing is this is just going to end up kind of being another organization, but an organization that, like NATO or UN or whatever the case is. But I think this is more in particular of like what's a little bit more unique about it is control, as well as, us, all these different countries pouring money into Gaza. I don't know, man. I think that we should be sticking the fuck out of all that shit. That's just me. I think it should be America only in the interest of America, essentially. Yes, you got to deal with outside sources, buy from outside sources, all that kind of stuff. Yes, of course. I always say that you got to do those things. But I think that we should be bringing a lot of our, things home and figuring out home, because we do have a lot of issues internally.
That we may have. So we know when this incident did occur, there were lots of individuals that were on the bus. There were also some individuals that were in the bus stop area. So if there's anyone in the public who may have been here or may have information related to this incident or the suspect's involvement, we'd ask that they contact their real-time crime center at 202-727-9099.
Chief,
with that, I'll open up
have you looked at the surveillance video on the bus?
So one of the things we are looking at is the surveillance video on the bus. Our preliminary information is that there is no video from the bus. So that's why we are looking for other options of video.
And Chief, how does this make you feel? I mean, here you have young people, they're on a bus.
I mean, obviously, anytime we have gunfire individuals that are hurt here to say, it's a terrible situation. This is very, I'd say, unique in the fact that it stems from a kind of an interpersonal dispute on a bus that spills off there.
Good morning, Tiffany. Man, this is a bummer situation. So far what we've collected here is at least 5 victims. It says, I'm going to read it out loud here just in case, just to get more details here. We are hearing from police in Washington, D.C. after 2 teens and 3 adults were injured in a shooting Thursday evening, which is last night, according to officials. Reports from our partners at Fox 5 D.C. say that according to D.C. Fire and EMS, all victims were taken to the hospital for treatment. The ongoing law enforcement investigation has shut down the 5900 block of 16th Street Northwest from Missouri Avenue to Oglethorpe Street Northwest in both directions. The interim chief of police spoke to the media in the hours after the shooting as he says a suspect remains at large following the incident. Damn. All right, let's go ahead and see if we get any other details from this. If they have surveillance of any type, if they have an idea of who the guy, at least a description of the guy.
But obviously it's very concerning here in the community.
And what do you say to the person who opened fire if he's watching this?
I mean, the person who opened fire, I don't know why you would take, this is not the way we resolve disputes. If there's any sort of conflict, obviously we work things out. We don't pull out gunfire. And that's the issue.
That was about the lamest thing that speak to the shooter right now. And he gave some lame-ass fucking PC bullshit.
Have too many legal firearms here in the community, so working through this, and that's why it's so important the community reach out. If they do have any information back to MPD so we can locate this individual.
Chief, you said 5 individuals. Are they all...
Why is the dude shooting at fucking 5 people? Why is he killing 5 people? Or trying to?
No, they're not all juveniles. So right now we have 2 juveniles that were struck and 3 adults that were struck. We don't believe everyone that was struck was involved in the actual fight that occurred. There were some people that were just there that appear to be, unintended targets of that.
And you're looking...
What's up, TVT? Good morning to you. Great to see you.
One suspect right now.
Yes, the information we have this time is 1 suspect.
So apparently that they don't know each other?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, so are those people, are they related or do they know each other?
Obviously, we're not really sure what the relationship is. There definitely was some sort of interaction on the bus, so we don't know if they know each other before this or if there was just some sort of dispute that actually originated on the bus that spilled over. So that's really unknown at this time.
Only one person fired their gun?
Yeah, so the information we have, there's one suspect that discharged a firearm.
How many shots fired?
We don't have that information. There's multiple shell casings. We don't have the exact count. Obviously, the Department of Forensic Sciences, they're on scene here. They'll process all that, so we get all the information, but we don't have the exact
count.
And
all non-life-threatening injuries?
Yes, all non-life-threatening injuries.
Just 2 more guys. Yeah. Did the bus driver do the right thing in stopping? The shooting you said happened after the bus stopped?
Yeah, so when the dispute came out, the bus driver did stop trying to resolve the situation with the individuals off the bus, and that's when things kind of erupted from there.
Damn.
Chief, just clarify the time of the call was 5:40.
I'm sorry, yeah, the time of the call was actually at 5:40 this evening. All right, thank you, everyone. Chief.
All right.
They're
sounds like that is all we're going to get from that. We're going to move on. House passes final 2026 government funding bill. Speaker Johnson reacts. Mike Johnson, Speaker for the House. Let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll go ahead and discuss it here.
All right, you remember the longest government shutdown in American history late last year. We were covering it every single day. Well, today, the House passed...
And I covered it every single day as well. Aside from Saturday, Sunday. You know, my Monday through Friday show, I covered it every day.
This year's final batch of spending bills, as lawmakers are working to avoid another government shutdown. They basically passed a number of bills, 4 bills today, totaling $1.2 trillion in spending. Now those bills moving to the Senate with final passage needed next week before a January 30th deadline to avoid a partial government shutdown yet again. Earlier today, Speaker Johnson taking to the microphone, explaining a little bit of his thoughts after they passed these appropriation bills. Again, these bills have not been signed into law yet. They still need to be passed through the Senate as well. But here are Johnson's remarks after they were passed through the House.
Thank you. Can I start this?
Yeah, Steve Posey saying that if this guy went and shot 5 people, that's a coward thing to do, and he's a loser for it. That's what he was getting at, Steve.
Welcome, everybody. This is a big day for us, and we've got some of the greatest leaders in a generation or more up here behind this podium, and I'm excited to celebrate this moment with them. Thanks to our appropriators and Chairman Tom Cole for being here today. This is a monumental achievement, and I think everyone in this room understands what has just been done here. This isn't just a news conference. I would call it a celebration of sorts. Despite the noise, despite our slim margins, despite the fact that most members in the House have never gone through a regular member-driven appropriations process before, this team got it done. They stood together, and they did the hard work, and they got it done. The House has now passed all 12 appropriations bills, and the Senate will soon do the same, and the President is going to sign them into law. What a concept, gentlemen.
Wow. All right. So that is a big deal for... because we're facing another shutdown here. So it looks like we're not going to see another government shutdown. That's what it boils down to, which is phenomenal.
Got it done. They stood together, and they did the hard work, and they got it done. The House has now passed all 12 appropriations bills, and the Senate will soon do the same, and the President is going to sign them into law. What a concept, gentlemen. I want to say this again for emphasis, and I don't want anybody to miss the significance of this. The House has passed 12 appropriations bills, and soon they'll become law. Now, many people in this room said that can never be done before. We had lots of naysayers, but we worked right through that. It really is a remarkable thing. With the passage of this package of bills today, Republicans will have finally replaced the last of any Biden-era spending levels with Trump-era spending levels and policies. We've spent less. We've saved more taxpayer dollars. We've codified efforts to remove waste and fraud and abuse. We've advanced a full budget that provides real teeth and delivers the America First agenda, just as we promised that we would. This is the most significant progress towards restoring regular order in this institution in many years, and everybody here knows that. And it's because of the work of the appropriators standing behind me. Our appropriators, this team, led so well by Chairman Cole, worked day and night for months to produce this outcome. It wasn't easy. It took a lot of work. We had to rebuild the muscle memory. As you've heard me use the metaphor, it's like trying to push a boulder up a hill. But this group did it. And I often say this about building muscle memory. It's true. Washington has just become...
Yes, the House, the Senate, and
far too accustomed to governance by omnibus. And governing by omnibus is not the way it's supposed to work. It's not how the Founding Fathers designed this system to work, because it's not responsible, it's not good stewardship, and it's bad policy. It's bad politics, and it weakens our Article I authority. We break bad habits by replacing them with healthy ones, and that's what we've done here. And I want to be very clear, this is a committee-led, member-driven funding package. It's exactly what we said we were going to get back to. With the passage of these bills today, Republicans have demonstrated that the appropriations process is alive and well, and we are changing...
Well, Papa D, that could change during midterms, but we won't see midterms for another year.
In this institution to work for the people, to make it work better. I wanted to be here to kick it off and give my gratitude to these members for their extraordinary work. They're heroes among us, okay? And they're all being patted on the back and applauded, and they deserve it because they know what they've accomplished here, and I think you do as well. And I've got to go run to the next event, but I want Chairman Cole to come up here. He's going to answer the questions, and he deserves to be able to answer these questions today.
Speaker Johnson. On Capitol Hill earlier today, we will let you know as soon as we hear any word that the Senate has, in fact, moved forward with these appropriation bills, and we will let you know when the president signs them into law. That's when we can officially say that another government shutdown has been averted. We'll be checking in with Semaphore in a few minutes here, talking about all of this and more. First, a quick commercial break. Our coverage continuing in a moment.
Nope, not us. Not us. absolutely not. We get right past that.
All right, you're watching.
Now, let me go ahead and see if they're just going to go ahead and bring on somebody. Okay, they are bringing on somebody, which I don't need an analyst coming on and trying to tell me what's going on here. We don't need that. All right, we're going to move on. Trump administration will discipline ICE agents who make, quote, mistakes, Vance says. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't trust the feds to investigate the feds. I mean, I think that's common for people, but we do need to figure out how we're going to hold, ICE agents or any other federal agent accountable, because we don't want this. There's a special line that we don't want to cross where we've got a complete police state. Basically a military state. And that's where you kind of know where you're going into a third world country, to be quite honest. If local police can't do their job and it's just feds everywhere nonstop, yeah, that's not going to be good. But ICE in particular, yes, we need ICE agents. We need them to be deporting and getting these fuckers out. Absolutely, I agree. But we can't allow them to be like able to walk up to somebody for no reason and shoot them in the head because they want to. We got to be able to hold these people accountable somehow. But I don't know the true answer to this. Like, who do you have investigate the feds? Who do you trust to do that? I mean, I'm being honest. Like, who do you trust to do that?
Lots of issues here domestically, of course. We continue to track the latest out of the Twin Cities. A live look at Minneapolis on this Thursday evening, the time in Minneapolis, about 8 p.m. Central Time. Vice President J.D. Vance made an appearance in Minneapolis today amid the federal surge in the Twin Cities, saying in part that he sought to better understand what's going on so that we can tone down the temperature a little bit.
That did happen,
reduce
Eddie.
the chaos, and still allow the federal government to enforce immigration laws. Christian Daytok is here. He's a White House reporter with the Washington Examiner. He traveled with Vance today, and Christian, you spoke with him aboard Air Force Two. What did you ask him?
Well, we asked him a lot, Austin. I don't even know if we have enough time to get into all of it today, but we certainly talked about what his message would be, not only to those ICE and CBP agents in Minneapolis, but to the community members who really have shown a great hostility to the way that the Trump administration is effectuating this deportation agenda. One of the main top line focuses, he claimed, like you mentioned, was to lower the temperature. And, in response to the swing in polling down into the red that the president has seen in recent weeks, we heard sort of a new marching line. And in this interview, I asked him flat out, now that the president is admitting that some ICE agents are making mistakes while carrying out these arrests, will the administration,
What's up, Orland? Good morning.
Hand down punishment, so to speak, just like normal law enforcement officers who make mistakes on the job? And the reason I asked him that is because earlier in the day when he was in Toledo, Ohio, that's exactly how President Vance described these ICE agents, not as federal assets necessarily, but as local law enforcement agents who are just trying to go about their jobs and making the community safer. And Vance's answer, I'm going to be quite honest, caught me off guard. He did say, look, on the one hand, we are trying to protect our ICE agents, make sure that they can do their jobs free from harassment or even potential violence from protesters who might ramp up the temperature a little bit. But he did vow essentially to investigate these alleged misuses of force, these improper arrests of American citizens. And he did say that when justified, they would take punitive action against ICE agents. It was a far cry from what he told us in the White House briefing room just a few weeks ago, where he essentially said that ICE agents should be shielded by absolute immunity.
The vice president did give some remarks in the Twin Cities today. We carried them live as they were happening. Did you hear anything today about Vance and his line of communication with people like Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey? Is there a direct line?
There's certainly a direct line between the Minneapolis and the Minnesota governments and the White
Papa D, I got you.
Why are you gay?
House. But the vice president did tell us he hadn't spoken to either Jacob Frey or Governor Tim Walz on this specific trip. And that was something that local news outlets really kind of pushed back on. They had billed this trip as sort of an opportunity, to lower the temperature, try and bridge the divide, and find some common working ground between the federal and the local governments. But what we heard was that really Vice President Vance was kind of only meeting with local business leaders who were on the side of the administration on this issue. And again, those ICE and CBP assets. Now, that's not to say that Governor Walz or Mayor Frey were not trying to attend this event, But as it stands, it really was sort of a one-sided conversation. And I think you could sort of pick up on that based on the temperature in the room from the local reporters. There were plenty of people who were willing to hear the vice president out, but really they questioned the fact that the leaders of this resistance movement, so to speak, weren't there to voice their side of the story. So this is certainly a storyline that we'll be following in the coming days and weeks. What does this meeting actually yield in terms of productive results? Not
interesting. So this may be something that we're going to be following more of. I mean, sounds like this is going to be a thing that's definitely going to be discussed more about. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and follow those stories. Any of these stories that we cover, we try our best to go ahead and follow every one of them. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and see if we have any update regarding Trump's Board of Peace charter and Gaza's future. So let's go ahead and bring this up and see if this is anything more than the World Economic Forum. Let's go ahead and see. No, it may be just a clip, the clips of it. No, they do break it down. Okay, so let's see what Trump says here. We'll just start from here and see what the breakdown is.
Heads of state, and now we have one of the most important meetings of all, the official formation of what is known as the Board of Peace.
So, I guess the big question here, let's just serve this as a primer for anybody. What is the...
Real quick, we got my man, freaking Baker. Extra surprise in the building. Appreciate you.
Function of the Board of Peace, and who is it going to be trying to implement peace for?
Good to see you, Austin. And the big question that everyone's asking is really, what is going to end up being what Trump wants to do? Because Trump has changed his position on his international persona over really the last year, right? It started from this America First perception, and everyone assumed Trump does not want to get the United States involved in the international arena. That was essentially his mission. His mission is not the United States involved. He, in his first term, wanted the United States out of Iraq, out of...
Real quick, we got Naomi coming in with the $4.99. Very much appreciate that. Saying like and subscribe. I very much appreciate that. That reminds me, I have not gotten the money part over with yet.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Facts, though.
Denied.
It's okay. I still love you.
Afghanistan, Syria, then second term comes up. All of a sudden, we have this really big change.
Good morning.
In the last
saying make it sounds
months.
Great again. I agree, by the way. I know you were in here earlier and you have been here, but I just wanted to say absolutely 1000%. We need to. Why isn't this a fucking thing? I don't understand. We need to be talking about bringing back asylums. We need to do that.
We have Venezuela. We have Trump engaged with Iran alongside Israel already 6 months ago. Some people are being very cynical about this and saying, well, Venezuela has oil, Iran also has oil, and attacking Iran serves Trump's friends, Qatar, Israel, etc. Maybe, but at the same time, the Board of Peace seems to be something different. It seems to be a true international endeavor that Trump is launching in order to position himself in this role as international governor. And to some
right, and his analysis of this is actually fairly fucking accurate on at least my worldview.
Said peacemaker. Now, what is it actually going to do? We don't know, because again, we're right now trying to
see, and that's what I was trying to explain earlier when Joseph up there from Canada was asking me what's my opinion on the Board of Peace. Well, it's a little too early for me to figure out how this is going to, because I'm an analysis. I'm someone that analyzes situations and I predict the outcomes. And for me, I don't really speak on things that I haven't concluded in my head how it's going to be predicted. You know what I mean? So I like being very keen to what is happening, essentially.
What
right?
Trump wants to achieve with this. Its mission statement.
Oh, shit, real quick. We got Kel coming in with the $5 up from up there in Canada. I very much appreciate that. Thank you very much, kind sir. That goes a long way. We got Papa D also coming in with the $5 saying brutal cut, but some treats for Lucy anyway. I very much appreciate that, bro. Thank you. And I promise you, Lucy's is going to appreciate that. Actually, you guys can see her on the couch right now. There she is, chilling. She's sleeping. That's what she's doing. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get right back into this. Thank you, Papa D. I very much appreciate that as well.
Goes far beyond what the United Nations Security Council initially set forth. This is part of UN Security Council 2803. Initially, Trump brought forth his 20-point plan for the Gaza Strip to end the war between Israel and Hamas. And part of that was establishing the Board of Peace and establishing an international stabilization force and doing all these things in order to bring about peace in that region.
Yo, Jimmy Mac coming in with the $2 for your next pack of raw rolling papers. Yes, sir, and yes, that is what I smoke, is raw rolling papers. So I very much appreciate that as well, Jimmy. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. We don't need more of that. We already know what's going on with that now. We're going to move into some breaking news that happened this morning. Well, actually, it was breaking last night, which is when I saw it, but the mainstream media picked it up this morning, and now it just came out 2 hours ago. So let's go ahead and bring this up, and we will discuss it. The U.S. leaves the World Health Organization over handling of COVID-19.
Good morning. Welcome in here to Live Now from Fox. My name is Christy Matino. Thank you so much for being here with us. We do start off with some breaking news. Effective today, the United States has officially left the World Health Organization. Here's what we know. The U.S. finalized its withdrawal 1 year after President Donald Trump announced America was ending its 78-year-old commitment. I do want to share this post here with you. This is from the White House this morning, and it says, effective today, the United States has exited the World Health Organization. This fulfills President Trump's commitment under an executive order signed 1 year ago following the WHO's mishandling of COVID-19 and its ongoing lack of reform, accountability, and transparency. However, according to the World Health Organization, the U.S. owes more than $130 million to the Global Health Agency. And Trump administration officials acknowledge that they haven't finished working out some issues, such as lost access to data from other countries that could give America an early warning of a new pandemic. The U.S. is legally required to give notice 1 year in advance of withdrawal, which it did, but also to pay any outstanding financial obligations. The World Health Organization saying the U.S. has not paid any of its dues for 2024 and 2025. An administration official denied that requirement Thursday, saying the U.S. had no obligation to pay prior to withdrawing as a member. The organization is the United Nations Specialized Health Agency and is mandated to coordinate the response to global health threats such as outbreaks of Mpox, Ebola, and polio. It also provides technical assistance to poorer countries, helps distribute scarce vaccines, supplies, and treatments, and sets guidelines for hundreds of health conditions, including mental health and cancer. Nearly every country in the world is a member. On average, the U.S. pays $111 million a year in member dues to the World Health Organization and roughly $570 million more in annual voluntary contributions. Now, that's according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. In an executive order issued right after taking
What's up, Bill Castle, over there in the state of Washington? Shout out to my man.
Office, President Trump said the U.S. was withdrawing from the World Health Organization due to the organization's mishandling of the COVID-19 pandemic and other global health crises. He also cited the agency's failure to adopt urgently needed reforms and its inability to demonstrate independence from the inappropriate political influence of World Health Organization member states. That's a quote there from the Trump administration. Now, another Trump administration complaint is that none of the World Health Organization's chief executives, there have been 9 since the organization was created in 1948, have been Americans. Administration officials view that as unfair given how much the World Health Organization relies on U.S. financial contributions and on U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention personnel. The U.S. has ceased official participation in World Health Organization-sponsored committees, leadership bodies, governance structures, and technical working groups. And that would seem to include the World Health Organization group that assesses what flu strains are circulating and makes critical decisions about updating flu shots. It also signals the U.S. is no longer participating in global flu information sharing that guides vaccine decisions. Trump administration officials say they already have public health relationships with many countries and are working to ensure direct sharing of that kind of information rather than having World Health Organization serve as a middleman. But U.S. officials did not give specifics about how.
Well, this is, I mean, it's good news, but exactly what Steve said. Just, I'm not going to read it out loud because I like being able to make money on YouTube and shit. But yes, absolutely. So make sure you guys read that. All right, we're moving on. All right, we're going to get into a little bit of weather here real quick because obviously we are going through a historic winter storm. It's a 2,300-mile winter storm. 235 million Americans supposedly are to be impacted by this. So let's go ahead and bring up the first one of two, and then that'll be our actual closeout, believe it or not. I may have some updates on the back end.
As we continue to track this
I'll check it right now.
2,300-mile winter storm that is expected to impact about 235 million people nationwide across 40 states. We're talking potential historic storm there, expected to deliver snow, ice, extreme cold, all of it. And several states have already issued states.
I do have an update. I have an update on Iran, by the way.
Of emergency. Right now, I do want to bring in Jane Minar, meteorologist over at Fox Weather, to help break down what to expect. And Jane, I don't even know where to start at this point because this is such a huge storm.
It is. It's historic in its size and its impact and how many people are going to be hunkered in as we go through this weekend. This all begins in the plains tonight. We have ice, we have snow, Texas up to the I-70 corridor in Kansas, Missouri, where we are expecting to see the threat for, ice accumulations, snow that could eventually amount to upwards of a foot. We could see, by the way, sprawling storm. You mentioned over 2,300 miles. We could see more than a foot of snow in 10 plus states. So let's get you through this, storm by storm. I mean, Josh, these alerts continue to expand, and I can't remember the last time that we had from Boston to
and then not only all the way up from up there, from up north, and then goes all the way to fucking Albuquerque. Damn, bro.
Charlotte to Atlanta. All of our major cities on the East Coast under a winter storm alert, and these watches will be upgraded to warnings as we go through tonight.
And of course, as we kind of watch all of this play out here, there are a lot of questions. And one thing that a lot of people don't know, and I did kind of want to ask you about, when you're talking about a storm like this, or really any intense winter weather, a degree or two can really make a huge difference as to what folks see out there.
Normally I would say yes, but in this case, the air is so cold because of the polar...
My brother Fredo, great to see you in the chat, bro.
...vortex. Now, our polar vortex, it's stretched, meaning we have this intrusion of really Arctic air from the northern border to the...
Yes. By the way, hit the like button, by the way. You guys don't have to like everything that's happening around the world. I get it, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. Make sure you guys double tap the screen if you're on the vertical side, and hit the like button if you're on the horizontal. I very much appreciate that.
I-10 corridor. And so in this case, because the air is so cold and so well below freezing, we are expecting to see widespread impacts of ice and snow. Now, where it might matter by a couple of degrees would be on the far southern fringes of this. So we're eyeing up the I-20 corridor from, say, Mississippi over to the East Coast, Atlanta, Augusta, Columbia, South Carolina, Birmingham. You can see Birmingham is actually not under a winter weather alert. And that's when you talk about this warm nose of air that's going to come up from the south. And this is what brings us the opportunity of the transition of some pretty significant icing. So that's why we have these expanded ice storm warnings. This is a really big deal because when you talk about the impacts, snow, ice, extreme cold, ice is what brings power outages. Ice is what brings damage to infrastructure. Yes, snow is obviously very impactful. I mean, especially when we're talking a foot or more. But when we're talking upwards of an inch of ice, that is where I do have big worries across parts of the mid-Mississippi Valley and into the Piedmont of the Carolinas that this could be a very prolonged recovery. At the same time, Josh, take a look at the snow, and we have the biggest footprint, bullseye of purple, for our highest totals, yes, on the I-95 corridor up into New England, where that snow shield has continued to shift ever so slightly north.
And one thing I also want to mention here, as we look at some of this, we do hear different officials who are talking about the wind chill factors that are -30, and I know someone mentioned -40. What are we expecting?
Damn, -30 and -40? Holy shit, bro.
For that, because...
Now, luckily, this is our only segment. We're not even going to finish this whole thing. Just like every other year, you're going to have fucked up storms, bro. It's just part of the game. Because it is, like what people were saying in the chat, it is fear-mongering to an extent with the weather, you know what I mean? But it is a big storm, granted. I'm not downplaying the size of the storm either, but yeah, it is a little bit fear-mongering. So anyways, I do have an update, though. I'm just going to go ahead and move on from that. We have an update from the Associated Press about Iran. So let's go ahead and bring this up real quick, and I'll go ahead and present this to you guys. Here
Jonathan Sae over.
This is our last update.
At the Foundation for Defense of Democracy's Iran program, joining us now live to discuss much more about the latest there. Thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to be here.
Hi, it's great to be with you.
And first off, I wanted to start by asking you about those comments from Iran's top prosecutor. Why did he feel that maybe it was important to point that out?
That was a very clear message from the Islamic Republic to this administration, stating that we will not respond to pressure. That has been the Islamic Republic's line for years now, meaning from their perspective, if they were to have any behavior change, that would signal a weakness.
Yo, what's up, brother Straight Jacket? Good to see you in the chat, bro.
To their support base and to their adversaries. So the regime wants to be very clear that you will not get behavior change from us. And that is in response to the administration's maximum pressure policy that has sought to perhaps alter the Islamic Republic's behavior, quote unquote, making them behave like a normal state. But so far, we haven't really seen them change that behavior, given that the Islamic Republic is inherently incapable of reforms. This was a regime that was founded on repression and executions. Therefore, if they were to change that in any way, that would be a transformation of the Islamic Republic, which, as we've seen, is not really possible. So again, it was a direct message to this administration. But more importantly, they rejected the 300 number.
Appreciate having you in the chat as well, by the way, FAFO. Hopefully we see you back again.
But realistically, they were the ones that messaged that to the administration. So there's also a contradiction between their private messages to the administration and what they publicly state.
Also wanted to ask you about this blackout. We're talking phones, internet, all of that. That's been going on for weeks. Does it still continue there in Iran, even though the protests have kind of dwindled?
The way to look at it is, even though we talk about internet outages, you pointed out electricity and actually landlines getting out. So the regime apparatus has been able...
No, we're going to do that at the very end of this video, and we will close out with it.
To really develop a capability that would go beyond a simple blackout. They oftentimes throttle the internet, and that's what we're seeing right now. Even though there might be certain limited instances where particular officials might have access to the internet, as a whole, the country is still facing different outages, throttling, and of course, surveillance. The other angle of looking at this is that for the regime itself, shutting down the internet as long as they have has economic implications. Of course, we've seen Iran's economy really crumble in the last few months, dare I say. But it's really important to note that it's even challenging for them. This is not an ideal situation of shutting down the entire country, given all the crises that's going on. So they would try their best to limit that, I guess, outages. But ultimately, it does signal to us that as soon as there's internet restrictions, even lifted in a very small scale, we see videos coming out of the brutal massacres of security forces opening fire on protesters. So the aim there is, of course, to disconnect protesters from each other, but more importantly, to disconnect Iranians as a whole from the outside world. So, you know, it's effectively an open-air prison is what Iranians are calling it. 90 million people without having access to the outside world is really unprecedented for it to go on as long as it has, about 3 weeks now.
Is there any evidence of large-scale executions taking place right now, despite the claims from Iran that President Trump has not stopped them? Any indication that those executions are happening or could happen?
There are certainly signs that they could and will happen. So you have to remember, the Islamic Republic is the highest executioner per capita. They execute the most amount of people, only second to China, but again, the highest per capita. In 2024, they executed about 975 people. In 2025, that number was as high as 1,500 people. And
damn,
these are just executions. We're not talking about the
just executions. Damn, I didn't know it was that many
protesters that are shot dead in the street. So if you look at the trajectory, they have been on the rise.
See, I heard a couple hundred. You know, I'm thinking, you know, anywhere from 200 to 500. But damn, they were talking to a lot of people.
If you look at what the judiciary is saying, they're very clear that they're not going to back down this time
in the
around.
Previous
they're going to
years.
Intensify. They saw this as an existential threat, which means they're going to do their best in neutralizing it, quote unquote, which literally means executions. But we have seen executions actually take place in the past few weeks. Although these are dissidents, or in other cases, whatever crime they were accused of in the past week or so. But the point is, these were people that were arrested prior to the recent wave that are getting executed right now. But when we talk about mass executions, this is something that the Islamic Republic doesn't really do as much as it used to. They do it in a gradual scale. So it's not that they execute 800 people overnight. They do it, like I said, day by day, and it usually totals over a few thousand on an annual basis. So the signers are really there, and sometimes you have to take the regime officials' word for it when they announce that they will go after these dissidents.
Any indication here that we could actually see some U.S. military intervention there in Iran? That's been a topic of discussion for weeks now. President Trump has said he's kind of dialed it back.
I'll just say it's not off the table. That's the answer.
Because he says that Iran did stop those executions, hundreds of them, after their conversation. So any indication that we could potentially see the U.S. get involved?
In this case, actions really speak louder than words. We have to remember, prior to the 12-day war in June, where Israel and the United States struck the Islamic Republic's military and nuclear sites, we saw similar remarks coming from the president. Again, of course, operation of this scale is not going to be announced in detail, so that's one important thing for us to keep in mind. But I think it really goes back to what Israel and America see as a threat inside Iran, and that is the ballistic missile program. That, again, they have hundreds, if not thousands, in silos. They try to recreate launchers, and that's their main leverage against really their adversaries, because they don't have a nuclear program anymore, nor do they have the proxies that were effectively a shield or a deterrence, as they thought. So given that this administration and Israel are keen on taking out the ballistic missile stockpiles, this is an unprecedented opportunity for them to leverage. Because if you were to let this moment die out and then simply attack the regime just to take out their ballistic missiles, you lose the momentum on the ground. You lose this protest movement that is inherently pro-America, pro-Israel, anti-Islamist. Iran has one of the most pro-America populations in the Middle East. So really missing the mark there would have strategic consequences for America. That said, all the signs are pointing to a potential military confrontation. We saw some movement in the region. We saw the deployment of troops. Israel has tapped into its Air Force again. So the signs are headed that way, and I think we should track that instead of specific remarks coming from the administration.
Jonathan, thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to be here. We definitely appreciate it. Anything we missed? Anything you want to make sure to mention here before I let you go?
I just want to quickly note that even though we've seen the protests thin out to an extent, does not mean the movement as a whole it's done, meaning there's still an opportunity, the momentum is still there. And when we talk about a movement in this scale, it is not just limited to protests. It's about different strikes that are going on. It's about grievances. It's about people not going
No, I back the play, by the way, Naomi.
back to their daily lives. Life is not normal in Iran, and it's going to take a while for us to really go back to what it was. It's debatable if we can. We hear the numbers as high as 20,000 people dead, which means every Iranian family has lost a loved one. So this is really a point of no return, meaning even if we don't see as many protests, doesn't mean the movement as a whole is dead. So it's really important for us to keep an eye out as to what's happening internally and, of course, track what's happening militarily in the region.
Jonathan, thank you so much, as always, for being...
All right, and as you guys know, of course, on all of these stories, what we do Monday through Friday is follow all of these things, and we do our best to follow up with any stories that we do present, if the information does come our way. Anyways, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. Stick around for the raid. We're going to be raiding Black Dragon, by the way. Let them know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. But listen, man, it's Friday. Hopefully you guys all be safe out there. I'm very appreciative of being able to do this Monday through Friday for you guys. And then, of course, Saturday morning, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, by the way. That's when we're going to be doing members only. So make sure you members show up. It's going to be a great time, as always. But I thank you guys again for another phenomenal week. Lots of donations, a lot of support, a lot of comments, a lot of likes. I very much appreciate your guys' engagement. Hit the like button and double tap the screen as you guys leave, as well as hit that subscribe button. We're going to be back for more Monday morning. So anyways, much love, honor, respect, everybody. Be safe out there. God bless everyone, and we'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire.